This guide will tell you everything you want to know about your ankle sprain and how to get back as quickly as possible. So it's sprained if it's a little bit less bruised, a little less deformed, broken if it's more deformed, more bruised. It's as simple as that. Now I'll tell you the details. Usually ankle sprains happen if you invert your foot. Just like this, your foot's not planted and you damage the ligaments on the outside of your ankle. This type is a little bit more rare. So we ultrasound to see if the actual ligament is ruptured. That's the only way to really tell except for symptoms. This is what it looks like in the operating room, not torn to torn. So the best things you can do are if you think you're closer to the sprain type area and there's less swelling, rest, ice, compress, and elevate. There's a lot of controversy about some of these steps, but where the controversy lies is controlling the inflammation. You don't want to do that in the flu or a cold because that actually stops the killing of the bacteria. But in a sprained ankle, you don't have any bacteria or any infection or any true debris that needs to be chewed up. It's usually just a sore ankle. As you get it into the next step of remodeling, healing, you want to jump the inflammatory step in the healing cascade as quickly as possible. Plus, you're going to feel a whole lot better. So these, while they're not perfect, definitely better than the alternatives. So things you can do: boots that hold ice 20 minutes at a time with an hour in between. You could also just dip it in a bag full of ice or a bucket full of ice. There's a lot of evidence now for menthol based creams. Applying them, it can cool, it can get rid of the pain sensation. Things you can do as well: don't take Tylenol, that just helps with fever and pain. What you want is either aspirin or ibuprofen. These reduce inflammation at the site and move you into a healing process faster. But the bottom line is, here's the true key of this presentation. If it's just a sprain, it's going to be 1 to 2 weeks. If it's a tear, it's going to be about 3 months. There's not a whole lot you can do about it. This is where all the gray area comes in, that some people brag they have amazing results. They're probably closer to a sprain, whereas a grade 3 is closer to a tear. Just remember Terrell Owens from the NFL. It took him 3 months to come back, and he was doing everything. He was sleeping in oxygen chambers, he was injecting it with stem cells, and it still took this guy 3 months. So, how are we going to compare with fancy techniques at home without spending a lot of money? So, things you can do: compress, ice. Here's the biggest thing you can do. This gets you moving earlier without pain and healing. Get yourself some supportive braces right here. So these tongues right here really support you. You can keep moving in a nice shoe without a lot of twisting on the ligament. These two braces down here, they're more compression. They're not quite as supportive as these, and they're not expensive. These are about 30 bucks. The biggest thing though, depending on how severe your injury is, don't start exercising until it's done. Biggest mistake I see made: people start exercising day one and they're just creating more damage, more soreness. Exercises are great for chronic injury, not acute injury. If it's a sprain, it's a couple weeks until you start this. If it's a tear, at least 3 months. So that's really the key, is finding out whether you have a sprain or a tear, and we can do that in our offices with an ultrasound machine. There's really no other secret to it. So the bottom line is, it could take up to 12 weeks. High ankle sprain, same thing. Your foot's planted and your knee buckles in. The tear is just between your fibula and your tibia. So same thing, you get an MRI and ultrasound, you see if the bones are gapping. See how they're gapped right here? And this surgical process brings them together so that the ligaments can heal. Same kind of stuff. Rice, apply ice and menthol based creams, anti-inflammatories, compression ice, and bracing is really the key, and hold off on your exercises. So same kind of thing, nothing new. Now if you have bruising like this, odds are there's some type of break. You want to get an x-ray, an MRI, or a CT scan depending on what your podiatrist wants you to do. Then you're going to need to be in a cast or a boot, on average 6 weeks. They differ depending on where your zone of injury is. Here's the biggest things. If you're traveling long distances at school, for example, you want to get a knee scooter. But otherwise, I'm a big fan of the walker compared to crutches. Crutches, people always tip over, they get injured, they have sore armpits. If you can get rid of this basket and make it look a little bit cooler, this is the way to go. People are extremely happy with walkers. And then after about 6 weeks, you get out of the cast, you get into a supportive ankle brace, and you get moving as quickly as possible. But there's no real way around it. Bone takes 50% to heal at 6 weeks. At 12 weeks, you're 75% healed, and at 6 months, about 95% healed. This is from a swelling and bone standpoint. Obviously, everybody's a little bit different, but this roughly holds true. So if you have an ankle problem, come see us. We would love to take care of you. And thanks for watching. Give us a like. If this helped you at all, please visit our website where you can get even more information. And if this video did help, give it a like and a share, and we'll see you soon. This is MichiganFootDoctors.com.